Well, I was walking through town. It was probably the slowest I ever walked in my life. As the sun started to set in the city, I kept having trouble walking forward. But I couldn't stop. I realized that I wasn't supposed to be here, so I forced myself to keep going. For some reason, once I got away from Miyashiro, my headache stopped. It was as if his very existence was the cause of it. You know what I'm saying?
そうか。今日って。
I looked at all the happy girls and remembered. February 14th. Valentine's Day. Oh, actually very close to the real date right now when I'm streaming this. Not exactly the 14th though, but the same month. Close. The day when girls told boys they liked them.
私、あんたみたいなやつ、大嫌い。
I hadn't really been thinking about it when I said it. It wasn't often that you told someone to their face that you didn't like them. You only realized what you really wanted to say after you said goodbye. Was that a line from a movie? Who did I go see it with? I laughed even though I thought he was stupid. I was happy now. I bet the old me was a nasty girl who hadn't been happy at all. But now I've forgotten all about it. I've forgotten all about it and I could be happy. That's right, I was happy now. That's why I had to laugh.
ねえ、セリカ。あなたはどこへ行く気なの？
I asked myself, but I didn't answer. I just kept walking. I was walking in a crowd full of people. As I walked, I stopped being able to figure out how much of the world was real. All the nightmarish things that just happened. All of these people were walking without knowing anything about them. Which world was real? It had to be this one. The big TVs were playing wonderful music, and there was a delicious smell coming from the crepe stand. Crepe stand. This was the right world, the fun world. It had to be this world. But I knew that this was a lie. But I pretended I didn't, and I kept smiling and walking. I was a liar. Someone who was honest with themselves, like maybe a child or something, might have gone back to that basement. Because this town, this place, should be so much fun, but it felt so awful. I couldn't find the place where I belonged. But I couldn't go back to that basement. I wasn't a kid anymore. Not anymore. I was a lying grown-up. Suddenly, a scene from the nightmare came back. All the events of the main route. The fragments of memories I'd seen there. They were scattered about like the pieces of a puzzle, and they were eating away at me. And beyond them, I remembered a tiny little feeling.
これ、どうにかしてよ。ねえ。
There was probably no way to get it back. I realized that no matter who I asked, it was the one thing they never tell me. The memories and the feeling kept spinning about inside me. I wanted to go back there, but I couldn't. I kept walking with nowhere to go. It's not walking, the sun already set. And eventually, I found myself in front of a building near the station. It had been 30 minutes since the sun set.
なんだっけ、光を。
Vicario. I always end up here. I looked up at the tall building. I couldn't tell how many floors it was. I couldn't remember ever coming here. But my body went inside without hesitation. I stepped out of the elevator and saw a pretty theater. I could see a poster for a musical on the wall. There was a picture on it that I had seen somewhere before. The soiree was just about to start. Soiree. Like a party? I think it's a party. You know, it means like some kind of gathering or celebration. Theater lingo. First, the performance held in the evening. The daytime performance is a matinee? I don't know how to say. Is this French or I don't know? It looks French. Soiree is about to start. I stood in line to buy a ticket, so I wasn't like exactly right. I don't know. I thought, well, whatever. Luckily, there was a seat open near the front of the house. Okay, we're just gonna watch theater, I guess. I bought my ticket and buried myself in the waves of people going into the theater.
ここ確か
What? Something was strange. I thought I'd never been here before, but it was familiar. I'd come here before. I walked up the stairs to the crowd and opened the door to the theater. Theater. I don't know, for some reason I'll just make it sound fancy, like theater. Like a CG. What are you wearing? She just, well, yeah, she's wearing shorts, I guess, and thigh highs. I thought she was, because the textbook's blocking. I thought she was wearing like very baggy pants or something. And when I stepped inside, I heard a sound like something bursting within me. Something snapped within my head. I walked toward my seat. I slowly weed my way through the other audience members, going down the steps of the corridor. The curtain was lowered, and on there was a projection with the name of the musical and an illustration on it. But what I was seeing was an empty theater. An empty stage lit up by bright lights. I sat in my seat, and after a while the buzzer rang and the curtain came up. The orchestra played a low sound that echoed in the pit of my stomach, and the cast came up on stage. My mind was still seeing the same thing. It was still looking at an empty stage. Okay? So, something's happening in real life, but like she's still remembering what happened before, when I guess the whole Sakuma thing happened.
ここで
I guess.
私は
On stage, the actors started to pantomime rowing a boat. They were creating a delusional world on the stage, filled with things that didn't exist. Ah yes, a metaphor, of course. But I was seeing a different world. It was the world I lived in before. The musical kept going, but the empty stage that only I saw didn't change. My memories ached. My feelings threatened to overflow. I'd done something here with someone. The sadness from when I talked with them was filling my heart. The pain in my throat when I screamed at them was coming back to me. I heard to breathe. I was gasping like I was underwater. The actors sang, their voices riding on the powerful music. It was a song the heroes sang to inspire themselves and the people before they went off to fight the revolution. It's the anime opening song. The people of this fictional world all lined up and yelled. "Come along and join us," they sang. And then it happened. I saw someone on the empty stage. They were holding something up high in their hands. I could see that it was a sword, gleaming with a dull shine. It was a tool for battle.
それが僕があいつにできる唯一の償いだから。僕たちは一緒にいたら何も変わることができない。離れたからこそ僕もあいつももう間違えない。男が好きな子にすがりついて生きてくなんてできるわけないだろ。
Okay. Crying for some reason. Well, probably because she remembers everything, I guess. Also, who's this person? This random person over here. What's her story? You know, I want to learn about her. Well, anyway. I was crying. It was the same tears I felt on my cheek. It was the same tears I felt on my cheek when I woke up in the morning. I quickly wiped them away with the back of my hand. But they didn't stop. I kept wiping them away, and they didn't stop coming. It was no good, they wouldn't stop. I couldn't stop them. I buried my face in my hands.
Suzuki, 続き、ずっと隣にいたって誰？
親友だよ。
親友なんていたんだね。あんなひどい殺人を犯すようなあんたにも。あんたの親友って同じように症候群者だったの？今何をしてるの？
いや、普通の人だった。もう亡くなったよ。彼女はこの世界のどこにもいない。
The play ended and the audience gave a standing ovation. The actors stood on stage and bowed. Yeah. It's funny, she's the only one crying. Like, everyone just looks at her. Why is she crying? That wasn't a sad play. So, alone, I wept away my tears. I sat there for a long time, unable to get up. No one else could see the blurry world I saw. I looked up to stop the tears from falling down. And the lights on the stage shone down on me like a spotlight. Still clapping. The end. What? Not the end right now, right? Yeah, but what? I can't believe it's the end. It is not. It's not over yet, is it? These are the credits already. I mean, looks like it's the credits. I don't know. I have to. I don't know. Keep waiting. Because I want to, like, you know, give my thoughts about the game and everything. I don't know if it's over yet. You know. Is that it? I don't believe it's that it. No way. No, this is the ending song now. Okay. Alright. So that was quick. I really was at the very end. Because, you know, I took, because I guess on YouTube there's not much of a difference. Because I'll, you know, put it together. But when I streamed this, I guess I stopped at the awkward point. You know, stopped right before this part, I guess. I didn't know it would end like that. I don't know if there's a post-credits scene, but, like, I assume, you know, because the credits are playing right now. Okay, well, again, awkward way to end it, because, you know, I just started streaming 18 minutes ago, you know? Anyway. I don't know, like, I don't know. Chaos Child. I mean, basically, assuming that's it, that was, like, kind of unsatisfying. I don't know. I thought it would, like, something else would happen. You know? I assume it's... Okay, well, as far as I understand it, it's simply just Sarika remembering everything, right? And then, I assume, anyway, she's glad that, Takeru sacrificed everything to give her a new life. I guess, is what I assume is happening. Right? Kind of like a bittersweet ending, sort of? I don't know. I mean, I don't mind bittersweet endings. It's just kind of like a weird way to end it. You know, it's not very conclusive. You can imagine she would make a decision, right? Either she embraces her old self, or she resolves herself to live a new life, or something like that. Maybe it'll show something in the very end, after the credit scene, but, like, you know, it's just her remembering everything, and that's it. Which, I don't know. Because I think also the idea is that they love each other, sort of. It's also kind of weird, because I mentioned before, I kind of joke about it, but, like, it's actually kind of true because she's literally born from his mind and everything. It's kind of like his daughter. So his mind daughter was weird in a way. It's like it's like a person made from his brain. So it's like I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird because there's no like precedence for that. But kind of like it also feels like because in the end, the fact that Sarika is his best friend, that's also all like constructed, right? It's not real, is the thing, and yet like, she has feelings for him. I think sort of. It's just I don't know. Again, what do you consider like? Are these real feelings, or are they just constructed from Takeru's mind from wanting like a best friend? So I don't know. Again, it's just weird. Like it's not like a real relationship. It's just this person that became real. It's like your wife who just becoming real and suddenly just loving you. I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know. Anyway, assuming that's the end, I guess I'll give some thoughts. I mean, final thoughts. Chaos Child. I mean, overall, it's alright. I mean, I don't hate it necessarily, as I was expecting a little bit more. I don't know, because I was really. Let's see. I think I wrote some notes actually. I might rant a little bit, but basically, I wish, like, number one, I wish they did more of the Gigglomaniacs. They did some interesting things, I guess. Especially in, like Uki's chapter, when Takeru got stuck trapped in his own mind by Sakuma and everything. That was cool. I wish they did more of that, because they had like mind powers and everything, right? I wish they did more of the delusions, because most of the delusions within the game itself, where you could choose like a positive and negative one, they tend to be like fillers, it tends to be fluff, not really part of the plot, really. So I wish they did more just like mind-bending stuff. That'd be kind of more cool, I feel. And I guess, second of all, I feel like the psychological horror stuff doesn't really have that much of an impact, I feel like. Especially because we know that, at least in the main route anyway, the main case, we just learned that everyone killed themselves, and also Shinji, killed Yui and everything, only because of mind control. Which kind of falls flat, I feel like. Because the whole point of psychological horror is exploring the darker side of human nature and everything, but, if it's explained away as supernatural powers, then it kind of like, again, kind of just loses that impact, But rather than focusing on human psychology, we just learn that it's like supernatural powers instead, and that becomes the focus, which I don't really like, Because the whole point of psychological horror is that it doesn't focus on the supernatural. But, what's going on? My ears! October 2016? Okay, so I assume there's another scene. But let me finish my thought first. But yeah, the psychological horror stuff doesn't hit as hard. The most shocking death was definitely when Shinji killed Yui and everything, because that's, when you think about it, that's kind of like what psychological horror is, humans doing horrible things to other humans, that's the point. It can have like supernatural elements in the background, but it shouldn't be the core focus. I feel like anyway in a psychological horror, but that's what I feel like what the game is advertised as and everything. And I guess just quickly, just a third thing is the Gigglomaniac swords. I just don't like the swords. I don't know. I guess it's a mainstay from Chaos Head and everything, but I just don't really like the swords, because it starts off like with like dread and mystery and everything, and I feel like if you're gonna do that, if you can go down that route, you shouldn't just like transform into like an action anime by the end, because a lot of chapters and especially the main route, it just ends with like sword fighting, which is it just doesn't make sense to me, right? Because Takeru, the whole point of his character is that he's a complete wimp, he's like he's cowardly, he's like weak, physically, he's like socially inept, his whole character development, I feel like was supposed to be like him growing as a person and overcoming challenges with information, like being a right sider, but like for good instead of like just for curiosity's sake. But no, at the end, everything tends to be resolved with violence, which is weird. Then don't get me started on giant sumo sticker man. It's kind of like how like if you imagine like Sherlock Holmes just suddenly just start blasting everyone, at the end of his cases. It's just weird to me. I don't know. I don't know. Because again, the Gigglomania. I don't know. I just don't love Gigglomaniacs. But well, anyway, let's see. Let's see more. Maybe I'll change my opinions. But after seeing this scene, probably a short one. Probably. I don't know. October 2016. So that's like, it was February, right? Erica? That's like quite a few months already. Oh, no, let's see. 8 months later. Okay. Oh, there you go. Math. I can't do math. I didn't know exactly how many months. I just know it was long.
次の検査は来週の同じ時間になりますので、お大事に。
Okay.
はい。ありがとうございました。
Okay. Oh, Senri's here. All right. So I assume. Okay. So a lot of chapters are pretty canon. I imagine. Because I'm thinking, well, what happened in the chapters? Well, probably in a meta way. When all the waifus, everyone, all the girls who had like psychic powers, who they went to a coma. Right around when Takeru was facing off against Sakuma, I guess. And when they went to the coma, either during or before or maybe after, I don't know, they had their own delusions in their own world, right? And they had like a shared delusion with Takeru as he was waking up from his chaos child syndrome. And that's probably what happened. And I guess, in a weird way, I guess Kurusu, when she woke up, she like transformed back to Senri maybe? Maybe not immediately, but something like that. I imagine that's what happened. That's why she's looking like this right now. I was thinking, oh, okay. So for some reason, I thought it was an apron. She was wearing I thought she was wearing an apron. It kind of looks like an apron, but I don't think it is. As she bowed to the nurse, who she come to know quite well, Minamisawa Senri, the girl who was once Kurusu Nono, checked the time. So it's kind of weird, though. I mean, unless they're going for the full harem route, when they woke up, as it turns out, the real world, they don't really end up in Takeru, do they? It was almost noon. The exams were getting shorter and shorter. They hadn't even given her any drugs today. That probably meant she was getting better. Okay, so I imagine, yeah, everyone got better. After Takeru and Kunosato, they did the whole, like, transfer the image, to everyone in the weird static noise thing. So everyone woke up, I guess, from their shared delusion. Yamazoi Uki, whose exam had evidently been as short as hers, came down from the psych ward on the 5th floor. When she saw Senri, she ran over. To be honest, I like Senri better. At least the way she looks. Personality-wise, she's probably the same thing, She's just exactly the same, it's just that she looks different. Again, I said that before, I guess, in her chapter. But I definitely do like her design better than Kurusu.
こーら、病院内は走らない。
Even as, I imagine it's the same voice, right? Even the same voice.
はい、ごめんなさい。
Senri felt herself smile as she watched her little sister walk fast, but now run toward the front desk. Her little sister had struggled with her physical therapy, but now she could walk and run like a normal girl. She wanted to be a nurse, just like Senri. And when it really is, it's a happy ending for everyone. And I remember at the end of Uki's chapter, at least one of the endings, probably the canon, quote unquote canon ending. She ends up, being a vegetable and everything. But no, everything's fine for her, I guess, in the real world. Anyway, she wanted to be a nurse, so it'd be a perfect job for her. Well, yeah, because she was taking care of those patients, in the basement for a long time.
思ったより早かったから、みんなをランチに誘ってみる？来てくれると思うわ。
Uki suddenly seemed to remember something and stopped.
忘れ物？その。
Uki was choosing her words carefully as she looked at the elevator that had just come down.
いいの？姉さん。
Senri put her hand on her little sister's head.
ちゃんと
Pat,
挨
pat.
拶は済ませたでしょ？それでもう十分。それに最近は警備が厳重で誰も近寄れないわ。でもだからいいのよ、ウキ。そうしちゃダメなんだからね。
Her little sister nodded a second later and Senri smiled.
定期検診お疲れ様です。お疲れ様です。
Oh, she's talking as well. I assume, well, I don't know. I assume they're the powers don't really work anymore, so that's probably part of the reason why Kazuki, is speaking normally. When she contacted them on her phone, she found that Adamoto Hinai and Kazuki Hana had been waiting for her call all morning. They met in front of the Shibuya station and started walking. It had been a long time since the four of them had gone through the city together like this. They saw each other often at the hospital, but their exams and physical therapy were all at different times, which made it hard to schedule anything. But today was a special day. Even if they didn't say anything, they all knew they were going to meet.
今日ユウは
ユウとなら学校のお友達と図書館へ行ったわ。
I assume also Yui, I imagine Yui is like canonically dead, this is the real world, so.
うわ、せっかくの休みに図書館とか。末恐ろしいな、おい。ユウは将来弁護士になるって張り切ってるから。
A lawyer? I wonder why. Is it because Takeru is, in jail right now?
おへえ、弁護士？子供の夢にしちゃずいぶん。ってあ、
Oh, so that's it. I almost said it, but she stopped herself. Both Hana and Hinai immediately understood the meaning of Tachibana Yuto's childlike dream, as well as the fact that it might even come true. And Yuto knew what day it was, too. That had to have been why he went to the library with his friends, just like the four of them had gathered together. An undescribable sadness was threatening to build up between them.
おっと、いけね
It was Adamoto's loud voice that broke the silence.
え。皆の衆、のんびりしてるとどの店も満席になっちまいますぜ。
そうね。どこで食べる？
超お腹空いてるので、いつものカフェでいいと思います。どうみんな。
それでいい。
I'm just reminded of, all these waifus. They all had wrinkly skin, this whole time. I guess they just, they finally learned to moisturize their skin. And it was all brand new. They're all fixed. All they needed was
じゃあ
moisturizing.
そうしましょうか。
では、お姉さんについてきてください。
Hinai raised one hand up like a tour guide and wrapped the other around Hana's. The two of them had been hanging out together a lot recently. I wonder why. Then she plunged into the crowd. Look, I'm just wondering if there's any Yuri. Look, I've been suspecting Hana to swing both ways, so... Anyway. There were no Chaos Child Syndrome patients to be seen. Eight months ago, over 80% of the Chaos Child Syndrome patients in Shibuya all fell unconscious at once. They were all quickly split up and taken to nearby hospitals. The hospitals were overflowing with patients. It was almost like the earthquake 6 years ago. No, 7 years now. Even those patients who had escaped the initial wave quickly fell unconscious as well, and were also taken to hospitals. Fortunately, no one was seriously injured. Several people were injured when they'd fallen, but none of them badly. Okay, I was wondering, like if you, fell unconscious, that's a real risk actually. Like land your neck in a weird way. But, fortunately not. No, severe injuries. And several days later, the patients began to wake up, almost all of them in a state of extreme panic. They couldn't believe their real forms. Senri, Hinai, and the others woke up at the same time and were terribly confused. But they didn't panic like the others, because they were the main characters. They quickly realized that he was involved and that he'd done this for everyone's sake. And so all the patients returned to a normal but harsh reality.
南沢先輩、列から離れないでくださいよ。置いていっちゃいますよ。
ごめんなさい。
Okay, so, actually, when I think about it, Senri, being Senri, that probably confirms, all the power stuff, all the superpowers, psychic powers, that was canon, as far as I know. Because I'm wondering, sometimes you were thinking about, how everyone was in a shared delusion. I was wondering, was that the only delusion? I assume so, because, you know, Senri is Senri, right? So, like, I assume all the powers were canon. Actually happened, you know? Well, Senri realized that she stopped walking as she reflected on the past. She ran to catch up with the others. What had happened when she was asleep? Right after she'd woken up, Takaru had told her himself. Funasato and Shinjo had let her meet him in a special hospital room. He also told her about Serika's true nature, and the truth behind the return of the new generation madness. Wakui, the committee, and Chaos Child Syndrome 2, he told her about everything. And lastly, he told her the truth about Sakuma, the father she believed in. And there was something that she, Minamisawa Senri or Kurusu Nono depending, had to tell them too. Now that she didn't look like Kurusu Nono anymore, there's no way she could keep up the lie. She had had trouble working up the courage before she went into Takaru's room. She'd hesitated so many times, and almost thought about not meeting him at all. But it was the other girls from her room that had scolded her and urged her on. She'd been the last to wake up because of the wound in her chest, and by the time she did, Uki, Hina, and Hana had already seen the real her. And everyone had forgiven her without saying a word. But when she had hesitated about meeting Takaru, they got really mad. Can't you trust him? They asked. Okay, weird peer pressure. Is he the kind of guy who wouldn't forgive you? And that was enough for her to decide. After she told him everything, Takaru had laughed gently.
バカだな。もっと早く話してくれればよかったのに。
Every time she remembered his voice then, she felt like she would cry. Because canonically, she doesn't get chosen. I guess. I don't know. In this like weird harem. Unless, again, unless they're going for the full harem. I don't know. Senri gave up her old name and body and went back to being herself. She'd been forced into 6 months of physical therapy, not just because of the syndrome, but the stab wound as well. But at last, she was capable of going outside on her own. She'd gone back to Hekyo Academy, which was now just a normal private school. How convenient, you know, it was like turned into like a weird Chaos Child Syndrome facility, but then we just went back to being a normal school, I guess. So in the end, not much has changed, you know, as it turns out from their delusions. Well, they started living the life of a normal student along with the others.
あ、ごめんなさい。何？検査どうでしたか？いつも通りね。でももう薬も処方されてないし、そろそろ治療もおしまいかしら。和樹の方は？うん、私もそうかも。
Kazuki looked up at the sky as she spoke. She'd been lying to everyone too. And just like Senri, she'd been reluctant to admit it, and Hina had scolded her too. When she opened up to Takaru about her lie, he forgave her like nothing was wrong at all. What lie? I don't remember. Her like being a psychic, I guess? Is that what it is? Even after losing her power, Hana still didn't talk a lot, but she was trying her best. That was her promise to Takaru, she thought.
その声、みんなにもっと聞かせてあげるといいよ。友達も増えるんじゃないかな。
Shibuya was filled with people enjoying their day off, and Senri and the others were living the same lives as everyone else. Except for one person, the boy who had been at their center of this harem. They'd only brought it up during a small silence after they'd eaten lunch at the usual cafe. At first, no one wanted to discuss it. By the way, where's Shinji, by the way? Where's Ito Shinji? Why isn't he here? He's not hanging out? But about the same time Senri had gotten tired of watching the ice melt in her iced tea, Hinai opened her mouth to speak.
見ましたか？
She pointed to the phone in her hand. It was displayed on a gossip site.
ええ。
The article was about Takaru. It said that Miyashiro Takaru, the boy responsible for the serial killing in Shibuya, had been kept at AH Tokyo General Hospital to aid in research on Chaos Child Syndrome. And now that the research was mostly finished, he was finally being sent to a detention house for the real interrogations to begin. Even if he was a minor, in light of the effects his crimes had on society, the article said, there is no chance he'd ever be getting out. Do you still have the death penalty, by the way? I don't know. I think I've heard, I don't know, I still don't know if they still have it in Japan, but they've had the death penalty for a while now. I don't know if it's like dependent on, you know, the prefecture, or like, do they still have it? I don't know. Because I've seen, like, I've watched a lot of anime and then read a lot of manga where they always reference to like the death penalty, you know, and I always think like, death penalty? They still do that? You know, I always say that, but anyway. It said all that in sensational and exaggerated tones.
こういうのどこで調べるのかしらね、マスコミって。
Most of what the article said was right. And Shinjo had told them that the day Takaru would be transferred was today. Oh. What a coincidence. They were able to say goodbye a while before. Shinjo had set it up.
本当に最後まであの子は。
The last time they'd met, Takaru had asked him for a favor. It involved Onoi Serika. Stay away from her unless she comes to you. If she does come to you, forgive her, and treat her like a normal friend. And never tell her about me or her past. He'd insisted on these 3 things until the very end.
でも
I can't read. These three things. Serika hadn't come to them at all. Kunasato had told them that she lived in Yokohama and was attending Hekiyo from there, but they hadn't heard anything else. So she's going to Hekiyo as well? I thought she was over it. Maybe not. I mean, I imagine this is gonna happen.
何してるのかな。
It's gonna happen. I'm gonna predict it now, but like Serika probably did resolve to embrace her past, you know, to take responsibility for her crimes. Probably, you know, that's probably how it would end, you know. Imagine that's what would happen. She probably wouldn't be satisfied with just living in a fake life, you know, where she's just happy all the time. I mean, if you think about this visual novel and its story, it's all about, you know, finding the truth and everything. At least that's what you're supposed to do, I guess.
何してるのかしらね。
But maybe not, I don't know.
さあ。
Because otherwise, you know, why would she go to Hekiho Academy? You know, she would just go to school nearby in Yokohama instead of go all the way to Shibuya every time. Probably a reason. Probably there's a reason. Well, no one was sure if Uki's question was about Takaru or Serika or maybe both of them.
そろそろ行きましょうか。
When she stood up to go, Senri realized something. Oh, that's right. Maybe she was talking about us. What are we doing right now? Takaru had a spot in the cafe where he always sat. Senri found herself looking at it and almost cried again. Really is a hair. I don't know. I don't know. Again, it's probably because I just watched so much harem anime when I was younger. And now I'm just sick of it. But like, it really is like very on the nose about like how all of them are just potentially just in love with Takaru, I guess. You know? I feel like that's the implication anyway. Everyone's just so sad about Takaru. You know? if Kunosato was here, well, I don't know. Maybe she's more sympathetic now. I imagine, you know, the old Kunosato, for example, would just say, who gives a shit about that guy? He just sucks. Screw him. Anyway. The four of them left the cafe and slowly headed for the station. They planned to split up and go home from there. None of them were looking at their phones, but their heads were all bent lower than normal, but no one noticed. Just before the light turned green, Senri realized that they were completely buried in the people surrounding them. Her mouth opened on its own.
映画でも見ていきましょうか。
Movie. Let's go see Heaven's Feel, Part 3. I know. The other 3 looked up in surprise. The mouths fell in shock. They seemed to have been caught completely off guard.
このまま帰ってもまだ早いし。
She was right, the sun hadn't even begun to set. Hinai suddenly started to tear at her hair.
ダメだ。今日はこんな空気にならないようにしようと思ってきたのに。
Her twin tails spun angrily. Okay, just imagine them just spinning like a helicopter.
そんなこと考えてたんだ。
そうじゃなきゃ彼氏でもないあんたと手つないだりとかしないって。
Hand holding, lewd.
最近よくつないでくるくせに。
知らん。誰だそれは。
That's because you're lesbians now, anyway. That would be more preferable
じゃあ
than
付き合っ
everyone
てくれる
just,
のね。
being Takuru's harem. Anyway. That's how I feel about... I don't know, I guess that's just how I feel about all harems, you know? Like, who cares about this bland main character? You should just get with each other. Anyway.
バチコイ。
Hinai clapped her hands together and then spread her arms as if to give Senri a hug.
ウキはこの後予定ないでしょ。
Oh yeah, and I keep forgetting that Uki. I mean, I keep forgetting that when I say harem, that technically includes Uki in a weird way. Well, FBI, open up. You know, if Takuru wasn't in jail for, his crimes, there'll be another crime, maybe, that he will be in jail for, but anyway. Uki made the same face she made at the hospital. Now let's go back to the hospital after all, she seemed to say. It's almost time, isn't it? Senri knew Uki was worried about her, and that's when she smiled back, silently.
ありがとう。でも行くならやっぱり映画にしましょうね。
Because if she did meet Takuru, she would grab onto him and break down in tears. She didn't think she had it in her to control herself. And she didn't want to let her little brother see her like this, or like that. She was never gonna let him worry about her again. So...
できれば楽しい映画がいいな。タクルに手紙を書きたいの。みんなで楽しい映画を見たわよって。
Hey, Takuru, you were having fun without you.
お手紙毎日書く。
While you're rotting in prison, we're just watching fun movies. Aren't you jealous?
毎日？これは負けていられないわね。
おお、ブラコン姉妹ですな。
Bro cons. Hinai tried to tease them, but they both looked back at her and spoke in unison, Senri mischievously and Uki extremely seriously.
いけない？自慢の弟なの。
自慢の兄です。お。
Hinai staggered back in exaggerated astonishment, and Senri gave her a pat to move her along.
ほら早く置いていくわよ。
Senri went to the front and started to walk. CG, alright. Unlike a moment ago, she was standing tall, ready to face whatever fate had in store for her. Okay. Well, this is their backs, alright. I was gonna say, Kazuki's shorts, she wears the same shorts that Sarika had. Anyway. Different color though. Anyway, unlike a moment ago, she was standing tall and feeling suffer. Uki went after, her footsteps steady and firm as well. The remaining two looked at each other for a moment, and then they started to laugh and ran out to catch up to the sisters.
ああ、待ってくださいよ、先輩。ウキー。
映画ならおすすめのあるんですけど。
花のおすすめはいつもバカ映画すぎて話になんない。
Yeah, that's how I feel about your route too, Hana. Okay, they go watch a movie, alright. They have fun. Okay, we're back to being Takuru, I guess. Huh? That's strange. There's supposed to be data in here.
おい、勝手に触るなと何度も言ってるだろう。
The door opened and an angry Kunasato came inside.
すいません。
あいつらの結果ならいつも通りクリーンだ。今のところ再発の恐れはない。
I gave a small sigh of relief when I heard that. Good, the treatment seemed to be working well.
それで、いつまで千里たちの検査って続くんですか？
お前、これから連れて行かれるときに人の心配なんて。まあいい。そういうやつだったな、お前は。
Oh, it's a typical, main protagonist to do that. Kunasato sighed in resignation.
今あいつらに行っているのは染色体に異常が見られないかどうかの検査だけだ。まあ健康診断みたいなものだが。
Checking the chromosomes. I don't know. I was gonna say, like, does that make any sense? But whatever. Here's, science
少なくと
fiction.
も老化の原因が完全に突き止められるまでは検査は続ける。今は週に1回だが検査回数は徐々に減らしていく予定だ。
Maybe? I don't know. Are chromosomes? I mean, maybe. The chromosomes are, related to, like, certain psychological problems, I guess.
い
Or
つ頃から減らして
developmental
いけるんで
problems,
す？
maybe, as well. I don't know. Something like that, I guess. Well, I don't know. Kunasato said. From the way she was talking, she wasn't lying. She really didn't know. My role in researching and curing Chaos Child Syndrome had mostly come to an end after I created that image. All that was left was for Kunasato and the regular scientists helping her to figure out the scientific cause. But they seemed to be having a hard time figuring out what caused the artificial aging process. As for what they knew now, there were structures called telomeres at the ends of a chromosome, which were related to the aging process in some way. Okay. Telomeres. Repeated set of base pairs at the end of a chromosome. Oh, tips complete, by the way. Read all of the tips, I guess. It's confirmed that they get shorter with each cell division, and telomere shortening has been seen in patients suffering from accelerated aging disorders. It is believed that they were deeply connected with cellular aging, and thus with aging of the entire body. Yeah. So I guess, they use that medical term just to, like, somehow related to Chaos Child Syndrome, I guess, in the story. Anyway. There were signs that Chaos Child Syndrome patients were artificially creating them inside their bodies. These false telomeres shortened at a greatly accelerated rate that drastically restricted the number of times a cell could divide. The hypothesis was that the brain recognized these artificial telomeres as real and initiated the aging process. But much of that was still in the realm of hypothesis, and Kunasato herself didn't seem satisfied with the explanation at all. But whatever the underlying principle was, because it doesn't really matter, when I asked her what had happened, she shrugged and said this.
精神や肉体がこう勘違いしているせいじゃないか。妄想の世界で生きるということは新しい自分に生まれ変わることだとな。
そうか。精神的な勘違いだけじゃなく、肉体的にも勘違いをしたんだ。
I mean, that can happen. In real life, there's something called placebo effects, right? It's just a real thing, The phenomenon where these mistakes or errors would occur along the chromosome had been known in the medical world for a long time. That's right, it was the same mechanism as cancer. Cancer is kind of like, your body creating cancer cells by mistake, and killing you because of that. From the inside, your own body is killing you. In other words, former Chaos Child Syndrome patients were at higher risk of developing that disease. Senri and the others would probably keep getting exams to look for those errors in their cells, all without knowing why. According to Kunasato, she had no idea when those exams might end. They might go on forever. Until they get real cancer, I guess.
お前に関して興味深いことがあるんだが。
Kunasato stared at me as if trying to peer into the bottom of my heart.
これから先、かなり長い間、お前はインターネットにアクセスできなくなる。
Not?
生まれて初めてのことじゃないか。
Nani? No, internet! Well, I might as well just kill myself now. Stab. No internet. Crazy. I mean, obviously, probably go to prison, right? There's probably no internet in the prison. There's books, I guess. I don't know, but probably no internet access, which is truly the worst form of torture. Yeah. Come to think of it, she was right. The internet already existed when I was born, and by the time I hit puberty, it was everywhere.
情報強者を自認していたお前が、その最大の手段を失い、情報の規制を受ける。場合によっては、情報から遮断されるかもしれない。そういう生活が当然となったとき、お前の思考回路は、それまでとどう変化するんだろうな。
A while ago, I might have panicked just thinking about it. But strangely, I didn't feel like it now. I
激
would
しい
panic.
情報の波にさらされていたお前と、波の全くない静かな海に漂うお前。精神的にどう変化するか楽しみだよ。
I mean, we kind of already did that, you know, that one time we got stuck in our own mind.
前に約束しましたから
We didn't get Wi-Fi
実験台にしていいですよ。
when Sakuma, trapped us in our own mind.
ああ、そうだったな。
伊藤のやつは症候群だけでなく脳の方も随分回復してきたそうですね。
Okay.
助かりました。
Ito, just like a small reference to him. We don't actually get to see him, I guess.
助かったのは医学的な面だ。法的なことは知らんぞ。
Shinjo had told me that Ito would be prosecuted, but in the end, he'd probably be given treatment as at a medical. He'd probably be. I can't read for some reason, but in the end, he'd probably be given treatment at a medical facility for minors. I can't read sentences for some reason. I didn't know how long it would take, but I was relieved to know that he'd eventually go free. Remembering Yue made my heart ache, but it wasn't his fault.
久野
It
里
was
さん
mine.
はこれからどうするつもりです？
I guess. I don't know. Again, I already mentioned this before, but it would be way more interesting if it wasn't mind control. Like maybe brainwashing. At least maybe brainwashing. Like if Sakuma had to spend a lot of time with someone to actually manipulate their memories, maybe because brainwashing is the real thing that happened in real life. But I don't know. It was just mind control, though. It just feels not. I don't know, not satisfying. Because the whole point of this horrible thing that happened and everything, you wonder why did it this horrible killer did this horrible thing, It's there's many reasons, and you sometimes the reasons don't make sense, but then if you explain it away as supernatural, it's not as interesting, I remember something I wanted to ask before I left this place. Kunosato's eyebrows rose in surprise.
委員会への復習を続けるつもりですか？
当然だ。
当然だ。
涌井が言った通り、私は踊り続けるさ。
Man, okay, so Kunosato Mio, I really wish she was the main character of this game, I was saying before how Giggle Maniacs and everything, it was it became the forefront of the story, especially Takaru using his powers and everything. I really wish it was just Kunosato, because Kunosato, she wasn't a Giggle Maniac, so I kind of want to see her story from her perspective and how she overcame challenges and everything. I feel like it would be a more interesting story because of that. I don't know. They're gonna make a sequel. They should just star Kunosato Mio and her quest of revenge against the committee and everything, but I don't think so. I don't think that's gonna happen. And then I saw a little smile form around her mouth.
そうか。なるほど。もしかしたらお前とは長い付き合いになるかもしれんな。 涌井はお前のことを観測し続ける。そう言ったんだろ。
ええ。
この先お前が自分に降りかかってくる状況に絶望し、あるいは恐怖し、再びギガロマニアックスとしての力を取り返してしまうか否か。それが奴とのゲームというわけだ。
Yeah, okay, so they just re-explaining this, which is good because I was a little bit confused, but I think I was right in understanding of what, Takeru was saying to like Wakui when they were like when he was being threatened and everything. I was a little bit confused what exactly he meant by making a deal. But I guess there you go. That's what
だったら、お前は生かされ続ける。私もお前の観測を続けよう。奴の尻尾を掴むためにな。
いいか?
There was a knock at the door, and I heard a voice I knew well. Shinjo came in with a serious look on his face. He was looking at me, seemingly uncertain as what to say. I waited, motionless, until finally he sighed. Shinjo said the words.
時間だ。
Jikanda.
はい。
Time to go to prison. I mean, not yet, but probably go to the police station first, and then get interrogated, and probably get a lawyer, and everything. Have like a court case. It's all the noise before going to prison forever. I slowly stood up from the chair. Shinjo knew the truth, but still accepted my decision. I could do nothing but be grateful for that. I knew how hard that had to be for a detective. Not really.
今までありがとうございました。苦労かけました。
In real life, with like the cops and the police and everything, it kind of really is about like the truth doesn't really matter. You always see in fiction, how like detectives always care about the truth and finding out the truth and all that. Not really. In real life, they just care about getting a suspect. Doesn't matter who it is, as long as there's like a suspect for the case and they can prove it, in the case, to the judge or whatever. Then it's all great, for police PR. I don't know, but Shinjo's different though. I mean, obviously he's written to be like a character that's empathetic to the main character. Anyway, I bowed deeply.
いや、君に比べたらどうということはないさ。
And technically, I mean, it really is Takuru's fault, even if it's like indirectly. The whole case. When you think about it, if it really is him. Is really what he wanted, I guess, back then, and that's what caused Serika to kill a bunch of people, right? Or at least, probably what happened was she convinced Sakama to help her, make these people dead, I guess. He put his hand on my shoulder. It was big and strong. I don't know why we had to describe his big and strong hands for some reason. His big yaoi hands. If I had an older brother, would he have been like this?
俺の方こそありがとう。
Brother. He's more like an uncle, though. I feel like he's more like an uncle type. I don't know. Well, there was another detective on the other side of the door, ready to take me to the transport. The rest of the world still didn't really know what I looked like after I recovered from Chaos Child Syndrome. It was Shinjo who had convinced the others that I'll stand out less if they didn't put handcuffs on me and try to hide my face. Thanks to that, I'll be able to walk outside as a normal high school kid one last time. I bowed one last time to Shinjo, then turned to Kunasato.
みんなのことよろしく頼みます。
ああ。またな。
Kunasato nodded weakly and I nodded back. And then I headed for the exit.
ああ。宮代。
I stopped and turned around.
危うく聞き忘れるところだった。取り立てて重要なことではないんだが。彼女の名前と年齢だ。なぜ彼女は尾上セリカだったんだ。年齢に意味はあったのか。
some reason for her age specifically, you know? I mean, she's the same age as us. Probably why. Wanted to be like, you know, same age because of an imaginary friend. But I guess her name, well, I guess, I don't know. Any special reason for her name, I guess? It was actually something I've been thinking about for a long time after we were first apart. It was the first step of a very big mistake. When I finally found the answer, I burst out laughing.
名前は僕の両親の名前をローマ字書きしたアナグラムでした。
Oh, is it? I don't really remember his parents' name, so... Yes, I guess it's an anagram. Why not? Miyashiro Sanayo, Miyashiro Eriko. Seraka? Onoi, I guess? Oh... Yeah, I'm never good with anagrams. It's hard to like move the letters around in my
彼女に求
mind.
めていたんでしょうね。だからそんな名前にしたんだと思います。
でも親の役割を彼女に求めたのなら年上に設定するはずだろ。
そんな風に親を求めている自分を認めたくなかったんです。だから彼女は年上ではいけなかった。僕が守るべき年下の女の子でなければいけなかった。子供ながらにつまらないプライドですね。今考えると本当に愚かでした。
そうか。
Well, if I wasn't mistaken, I caught a glimpse of gentleness in her expression.
でもお前はちゃんと彼女を守った。今はもう愚かじゃないさ。
I smiled back at her and turned away. I made my stride a little longer than usual so my resolve wouldn't waver. And then I stepped out the door. For me, I don't know, I think I'm just tired today. My mouth doesn't work. It's been forever since I've been outside and the weather was beautiful. I was so used to the darkness that the strong sunlight stung my eyes. The wind was a little cold, but it felt good. It swirled by as if purifying my whole body. I was surprised not to see any reporters or gawkers, but I learned later that Kei, aka Kurosato, had given the media and internet false information. Yes. I walked for a while until I saw a black car stop on the side of the road. It was probably the transport car. Kinda ruined her reputation though. I guess it doesn't matter for her now. But like, you know, Kei giving like wrong information and everything, no one would probably, well, a lot of people will never listen to her ever again, you know, because she was wrong. But, oh well.
あれ
I felt a sense of deja vu and stopped to look around. And then I remembered.
そうか。
This was a corner of AH Tokyo General Hospital. 6 years ago, during the earthquake, it had been an evacuation shelter. The detective saw that I stopped and asked me what was wrong. But there were too many feelings inside me to explain. That's right. This is where I created her. You know, just made her just born from my mind. You know, I feel like, I guess Chaos Child Syndrome, you know, that's what the title is referring to of this visual novel, right? I really thought like, you know, it would make sense to me, but like, you know, I thought that Chaos Child like was a reference to Sarika, you know, her like being a child of like his mind, and I was thinking like, I don't know, this is like a hypothesis I had in the back of my mind. I don't know if I said it, but like I was thinking maybe the story would have been about chaos children, you know, people that were born out of people's minds during the earthquake, similar to like Takaru, but like to everyone, you know, not just him, but like there was actual like fake people just running around, you know, they're not real. They just came out of people's minds, and but then they became real, you know, and then they have their own like society or whatever. But you know, I guess it's not about that. It's not chaos children, I guess. It's chaos child. I stood there in silent shock. Nanny? Nearby, in the bright sunlight, just a few seconds away if I were to run, is Asarika. Probably Serica. CG completes last CG. No Serica. She was standing there with another person. Is it the same person in the theater, or maybe that's just her friend, from Yokohama? She was standing there. Same as always. Same outfit. The girl I thought for sure I'd never meet again. Hello, Risa. Well, did I get debated by the credits? Well, there was credits I played before. Yeah, I was a little bit, I was thinking like that hadn't been over yet. It's only been like 18 minutes. I was like, oh, it's already over? No way. Of course, there is more. The girl I thought for sure I'd never meet again. She was looking at me as if uncertain whether to smile, cry, or get mad. There was a girl next to her that I didn't know, about the same age. Why?
なんでここに
Couldn't look away, and I couldn't move. Oh, which is right there. Alright. We were close, but we were staring at each other across a distance that could never be crossed. Really? You're very close? This is not a very long distance. Are you talking about, I guess, a metaphorical distance? You're right there. It's right here. You're very close, actually. The detective told me to start walking. I couldn't answer. I realized that my fists were clenched.
セリカ？何？
I heard a pretty voice. The soft wind seemed to be carrying it to me.
どうしたのいきなり。誰あれ？知ってる人？
And yeah, everyone, I guess, doesn't know who Takeru is just from looking at him because, the whole Chaos Child syndrome. Everyone knows his face is like a wrinkly old face, I guess. And that's why. For example, her friend doesn't notice him. I didn't know what feelings were being exchanged between us, but I could see tears forming in her eyes. Oh, it's been 8 months since that weird...
知らない人。
The weird credit sequence. I guess Serica is just saying, no? Who's that guy? He looks like a loser. I don't know him. And the tears fell without a sound. She was smiling. The girl next to her must have been her best friend. She wiped away her tears and smiled so that her friend wouldn't see them. And then she turned around and walked away from me. Okay, bye, Serica. Time started to move again, and a smile formed on my face as well.
僕も君なんて知らない
The sun stung my eyes. I looked up at the sky so that the sudden tears wouldn't fall to the ground. I was crying tears of joy. That's what I believed. That's what I had to believe. Everything was for the best.
すいません行きましょう
I said to the detective, then I started to walk. I didn't look at her as she got further away. We would never see each other ever again. And the paths we walked would never cross. That was how we would live our lives together. Okay, is that the end now? I mean, I feel like it's the same conclusion we had before the credit sequence, Same thing. Is it Finn? Okay, I assume it's over. I mean, at the end of this, it's still the same, At least Serica's arc. I guess after the credit sequence, we did learn more about, how everyone recovered and everything. It's kind of like a happy ending, Everyone's like, fine, I guess. But I guess the idea, again, I said before, Serica just goes on to live a normal life, and that's her story, I guess. That's it. And Takeru goes to prison forever, and then he rots in prison. Probably gets shanked. And then he dies. The end. I don't know. There you go. Sound complete as well. Like all music, I guess. I assume that's it, right? As far as I know, that's everything, right? I believe the true end is the last thing you do, right? Silent Sky is right there. I guess so. I mean, I kind of already gave my thoughts about the game, at the credit sequence, the fake credit sequence anyway. Well, not really fake. It was a real credit sequence. It just came earlier, I guess. I don't know. And I still feel the same, actually. You know, the same thing. It's kind of like, at the end of the day, Chaos Child, I don't really love it. It's fine. You know, it's fine, but it's not as good as, like, Steins Gate, for example, you know? Because the number one thing, I guess, you know, number one thing is that the main character in Steins Gate, very similar to Takaru in this game, and I guess, you know, it's kind of like a theme in the Science Adventure series, is that they just start off as, like, a complete loser, right? And then, but the idea is that by the end of it, though, they play to their strengths, you know? And they don't really, like, overcome the bad guys by just brute strength. But that's how it kind of happens in, like, I don't know, in Chaos Child. I feel like, anyway. I mean, not entirely, but, like, it just ends up with, like, an anime battle when... That's what I don't like about Chaos Child. The whole Gigglomaniac thing and people summoning swords. In Steins Gate, you know, the main character doesn't do that, you know? Instead of using anime powers, they use, you know, human how you say it? Ingenuity. I can't say the word. Human ingenuity. Why can I say the word? Ingenuity. Human ingenuity. Human ingenuity is what I'm trying to say. Ingenuity. Human ingenuity. But yeah, that's why, for example, it would have been way cooler if Kunosato Mio, you know, was the protagonist instead of Takaru. I feel that way. But I guess that's my personal opinion. And I assume the different music is playing in the background as well. Or is it maybe because I'm on the ending screen? I don't know. I do like the music, but you know what's annoying about the music is that it mutes the VOD a lot of the time. So this is like a weird thing to like hate about the music, but that's, you know, that's the truth. I kind of don't like it because it mutes the VOD a lot of the times. Anyway, again, I already said most of what I wanted to say in the credit sequence, you know, but I don't want to just trash on the game. I guess what's good about it is the voice actors are good, you know, especially when Takaru's making demonic guttural noises. That was, you know, great. I remember reading a Steam review where someone said they didn't like that, but I liked it. I don't know. It's like, I like it when Takaru just made barfing noises in the microphone. I don't know. It's very immersive. I like some of the delusions, you know, even though most of them are kind of like filler and fluff. Some of them are pretty funny. You know, ironically, most of the negative ones are pretty funny as well. The mapping triggers, you know, are helpful for like, you know, for like adding a bit of gameplay to the story, which is great. I always like that. You know, similar like Phoenix Wright or Danganronpa. Even though it's not as involved, you know, I still do appreciate the mechanic. Again, Kunosato Mio is the best character, I feel like, ironically, even though she's not like a main heroine. And, you know, some of the choices, they're pretty, you know, mind-bending, I guess. You know, basically like Minamisawa Senri's true identity, you know, Serika's like real personality and everything. Which I feel like, I don't know, was never really... I was expecting a little bit more about her, like why is she the way she is and everything in the true ending, but I guess not really, not too much. Because I want to see more of her, like why is she so, you know, twisted, right? Like, I mean, I guess the implication is that she was like, you know, 6 years old, I guess, like literally, like born from his mind and everything, but I don't know. But it is interesting though, at least the twist itself, you know, the fact that Serika's like whole ditzy childhood friend act was just, well, it was an act, right? Not really her real personality, at least, you know, in the main route. And the Chaos Child syndrome as well, pretty, you know, a little mind-bending too. The whole idea is that, as it turns out, they were all, you know, had wrinkly skin the whole time. We didn't know, right? They were sharing a delusion and everything. Though in the end, though, it didn't really matter too much. As I said before, they just got better, so it didn't really matter too much. It didn't really affect much of the main route, really. But, you know, just like a small thing, I guess. A little mini mystery. Anyway, yeah, that's it. I mean, overall, it's alright. I wouldn't say it's bad, necessarily, but I felt like, I don't know. I even watched the video where someone said it was like the best thing ever, you know, even better than Steins Gate. But in my personal opinion, it's not as good as Steins Gate, though. I like Steins Gate better, you know? I don't know, it's just Steins Gate is just better to me. It might be also because, you know, maybe people who really like Chaos Head, for example, they would enjoy more out of Chaos Child because they went through Chaos Head, which I didn't really do. I watched some of the anime and everything. I think I pretty much like I watched most of the anime, then I kind of dropped it. Then I read the synopsis basically, I think, and you know, maybe I didn't get out of it as much as I could if I just went through the Chaos Head properly. But I feel like most people can't really do that, right? You know, unless you pirate it, I guess. But like, there's no official release for Chaos Head, at least on Steam. So like it's hard to get. So, you know, most people would actually go to Chaos Child first, I imagine, if they're new to the science adventure series and want to get into like Chaos, you know, the series or whatever. And it really is this. I mean, it's supposed to be like a standalone thing, right? As far as I know, like, you know, you read on the Wikipedia, it's like a thematic sequel, which means you know it has the same concepts and themes, but it doesn't have the same cast or anything, including like standalone story, as far as I know. I don't exit yet. Oh, that's your turn. You guys, anything else? If I click on this, I'll probably just play the true ending again. So I guess there's nothing else. As far as I know. I don't know. Well, I guess that's it. Again, overall, it's fine. Not the best thing ever, but it's alright. I spent $40 on this though, so that's why I'm a little bit harsh on this game because I spent money on this. But oh well. That's fine. You don't expect like every movie you watch, you know, to be like the most amazing thing ever. So yeah. Alright, well, I mean, it's been a ride. I guess that's it for Chaos Child. Thanks for watching. Until next time, see you then.